Welcome back to the Lockwood Chronicles. My name is Larissa, and today we are going over my October reading wrap-up. Burned my ear on my curling iron, or my curling wand. Ooh, it's feeling hot. Hi, welcome. Okay, my goal was to read 7 books this month, and we read 9, so that is fantastic. Wow, what an accomplishment. And that is great for me, but whatever amount, even if you don't even read a book, it's fine. It is what it is. I just enjoy reading, especially for escapism, which I would love to escape this burnt ear right now. Let's get into it. We have a lot of books to discuss. So my average rating for the month of October was a 3.56. Which is good. That means I liked majority of the books that I read. Actually, I didn't have anything below a 3. The first book that I read was Foxglove by Adeline Grace. This is the second book in the Belladonna universe. So Belladonna was the first and Foxglove is the second. And again, it's a continuation of Belladonna. There's a lot that kind of transpires. Fate shows up because he sees this silver thread in the tapestry. Blythe, there's some drama with her father, and that he was accused of doing something that he most likely did not do. And so they are trying to solve that case. And Cigna is still going through a lot of development on who she is and what she's capable of. I won't say much more because I don't want to get into spoilers. It's always I always get nervous talking about sequels. But Belladonna is it says it's a YA. It's definitely more new adult. A YA fantasy historical romance. So it does take place way back in the day, so there's just some fun historical things. I enjoy it. I think it's a great read. I listened to this one actually. I also listened to Belladonna, and I felt like the narrators did a fantastic job, and I absolutely love them. I would recommend going that route. I will be getting the physical books of these because these covers are absolutely gorgeous, and I could see myself rereading these. Oh, Death. Death's nickname for Cigna is Little Bird, and every time he says it, I'm just like, yes, I'm here, Death. What do you need? I'm such a synth for Death. What a guy. What a entity. The next book that I read was My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. This is just a silly, goofy, good time. It is, I think, classified as a romance. There's really not a lot of romance that takes place. There's a lot of tension, but it's more just friend vibe. Yeah, it's not a standard smutty romance. The main characters are Cassie and Frederick is a vampire, hence the title. It's not a secret. And he has been asleep for some time. He is trying to get reacquainted with the world, technology especially, since that's changed drastically since he has woken up. Cassie is being evicted from her apartment, and she is so sick of relying on her friends, her family and friends to bail her out, and she wants to make her own way in this world. However, she is an artist and works a lot of odd jobs, so she doesn't really make a really steady or much of an income. And she sees this Craigslist post for this really nice apartment in this really great area for $200 in Chicago. She goes, sees it, and makes sure that the guy is not going to wear her skin. The way he talks is very old language, and she's like, oh, this dude is just super old and probably wants some company or whatever. And she gets there and he is hot. Frederick is hot. Frederick is just so attentive, and he very much, it's an acts of service thing, and I just love it. He's just so goofy, and every vampire has a power, and his power is so cute, and I love it so much. If you want to see the vlog when I do read this, it's somewhere in the universe up here. If you're looking for a nice little palate cleanser, a good time, low stakes, yeah, that's the one. Also, a low stakes fantasy is The Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon, or That Time I Got Drunk and Saved a Demon by Kimberly Lemming. The main characters are Cinnamon and Fallon. And Cinnamon is a spice farmer, and she just wants a quiet life. There is this event every year where the goddess chooses 4 people to protect people from demons. It's a very big celebrated thing. And Cinnamon and her friend are like, we want nothing to do with that. No, thank you. We just want to drink our wine and live our life vibe. And then Fallon shows up, who is a demon. Then something happens, so they have to go on this voyage. She's doing exactly the opposite of what she wants to do, is going on an adventure. It is very, very spicy. I was blushing. I was fanning myself. Oh, also, like, it is today's vernacular. It's so funny. It is a silly, goofy, good time. So if you just, again, want low stakes fantasy. Then the next book that I read was The Modern Girl's Guide to Magic by Lindsay Hall. I was not expecting to like this as much as I did. Christina Lauren, Emily Henry style of writing, like there's more depth to characters. This is about Arya and Callan. Arya is a failed witch. Her magic has never really worked properly, and so she just goes away from her small town. She goes to London to try to make her way in the world. However, because her magic is so unpredictable, it ends up like blowing up in her face after job, no matter what she does. Her grandma comes to retrieve her and be like, hey, we need you to come back. We need you to save this town. You need to enter into this competition to see who is going to win the garden that supplies pretty much everywhere. Owner of the garden does not have any heirs, so he's throwing on this magical competition. It gives very much a cozy fantasy and cottagecore vibes, as well as like competition is very collaborative, so it's not like a cutthroat. There's also a familiar of a badger, and his name is Boris, and I love Boris so much. He's such a cutie. It turns out that Arya and Callan had met when she was 17 and he was like 21 or 22, and they almost shared a kiss. However, Callan asked how old she was, and she's like, oh, I'm 17. And he's like, just gonna step back, because he, obviously, that's a minor, and he's like, I'm not going to jail. And so he steps back, and he has never forgotten her. But then he does something to a special place in the town of hers, and she has a lot of animosity towards him. It is ruined for her. So he's trying to win her over. It's just a good time, and I really, really enjoyed it. It was, again, very cozy. I love a witchy romance. The next book that I read was a novella. It was Movie Star, or a short story even. Movie Star by Jessica Simpson. Oh, this is actually a sweater from Jessica Simpson's collection. Got it at Costco. Love that for me. Jessica Simpson, this is like a little short story. She didn't include an open book for whatever reason. Not really sure why, but it's about a Hollywood actor who tried to snag Jessica when she was broken up with Nick before her and Nick Lachey got engaged. How he pursued her and tried to use his religion to justify his actions. And I forget what the subtitle of the book or the short story is, but it's something about like, he wasn't single at that time and they never are kind of thing. It really should have just been included in open book or something. I'm not really sure what the purpose of that was. I did enjoy it because that is probably my favorite memoir is open book. She handled it well for what it was, and I applaud her for that. The next book that I read was our first physical book, Hellbent by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book in the Alex Stern series, and the first one was Ninth House, which is a dark academia that takes place at Yale, and there's a lot of secret societies, and the secret societies deal with magic, and it's more darker shades of magic, and Alex can see what are called greys, or the silent ones. They're ghosts, and that is very vital in the societies. I'm not going to go into what Hellbent is about, but I really, really enjoyed this. Again, I paired both Ninth House and Hellbent with the audiobooks when I physically read it, so I would alternate. Highly recommend doing that. The narrators are fantastic. Also just helped get through it a little bit faster because sometimes it can drag. The secret societies, or everything that's happened at Yale, is all like speculation and based off of like true speculation. I am excited for whenever the third one comes out because, again, cliffhanger. Look up trigger warnings before starting the series. There are a lot of them. Then we get into a fluffy one. Wildfire by Hannah Grace. I loved this. I loved Icebreaker. So this is the second book in the Maple Hills series, and they are interconnected standalone. So Wildfire follows Russ. He is just such a sweetie pie. I love Russ, but he is also like a soft top. And what I mean by a soft top is he is golden retriever energy, so sweet, so caring, acts of service, like is there, supportive, but is he a spicy one? He is spicy, and so is Aurora, who is our female main character. People were like, oh, this isn't as spicy as the first one. No, there's just not as many spicy scenes as Icebreaker. It is still plenty spicy. Also, there are dogs in this one, and the dogs' names are Fish, Trout, and Salmon, and this takes place at a summer camp. Both Russ and Aurora are camp counselors there. The beginning of the book starts with the last party of the school year, and the hockey boys are hosting, as per usual. Her and Russ end up having a one-night stand, and she dips out. And then they both head to the summer camp that they're both working at unknowingly together. Baby, let the games begin. There's also like a no fraternizing, I can't say, why can't I ever say it? No fraternizing. Okay, there is an R in there. There is a no fraternizing policy between the camp counselors. Russ really needs this job because of some things that are happening in his personal and familial life. And Aurora also has a lot of familial trauma and baggage that goes along. So they are kind of not working together, but they are supporting one another through each of their individual familial issues. I'm such a sucker for these types of romances. The next book that I read, which is Ink Blood Sister Scribe by Emma Torres. She lives in Minneapolis. How exciting. I hope I've seen her around at one point in life. That would be super cool. Doubtful, but who knows? So this is the main characters are Esther, Joanna, Nicholas, and Nicholas's bodyguard, Collins. And it's third person perspective, but focused on Esther, Joanna, and Nicholas. So we get each of their perspectives in third person. Esther and Joanna are half-sisters whose family has magical books that need to be protected because people are trying to take them and they can be dangerous. But Esther has to leave. She was told by her father that in order to keep the family safe, she needed to leave and always be sure that when a certain day in November comes around, she needs to be moving, not be in the same place. Otherwise, the same people that killed her mother will come and find her. And then also the people that she loves. Nicholas is a scribe for the library where he writes the magical books and with his blood because his blood is special. And Collins is his sassy bodyguard. Joanna has to remain at the house in order to protect the magical books, and she makes sure that the wards are up, and she's trying to figure out how to write these magical books. But she's very isolated because she cannot let a lot of people in. Nobody can come to her house, not even her mother. And then a bunch of stuff happens. There are a lot of obvious, predictable twists, and then there were ones that I was like, excuse me? It was very, very slow to start. It had a lot of setup. I am very happy that I stuck with it because I got to around, I think it was like the 70 or 80 page mark, and I was like, oh, I'm in it. Like, this is good. And then, yeah, as soon as things started happening, they started happening, and away we went with it. And there was just a lot of connections, and it was great. It was good stuff. And there's a couple very minor romance subplots, and I loved them. Always need to find a romance in any book that I have. The last book that I read, I listened to this one actually because I was too scared to read it. And that is The Last House on Needless Street by Catriona Ward. Whew! The point of views that we get are Ted, Olivia, who is a cat, and then Dee. Dee's little sister Lulu, like 10 years ago, I don't remember how many years it was, but she disappears and nobody can find her. And somebody snaps a picture of Ted standing out on the porch. People started harassing him even though they found no evidence. And he was just a guy living alone with his cat, single dad, partial custody of his daughter. And you can definitely tell, and he knows as well, that he has some mental health struggles. He does see who he calls the bug man, which is a psychiatrist. So Dee is looking for her sister still. She gets wind of it potentially being Ted, and so she tries to catch him in the act. Olivia is Ted's cat, and her point of view is just goofy. She's silly. She's also extremely religious. There's just a lot of suspicious things that happen, and I was definitely creeped out during it. There's actually something that I'm still creeped out about. Did I ever get answers for that? Nothing super gory, which I always appreciate. It was very much like a psychological thriller, which is what I love. And it was, the narrators did a fantastic job, so I highly recommend. Lots of twists and turns. Really enjoyed it. Kind of a good mix of everything. So here's the 3 physical books that I read out of the 9. What was your favorite book that you read in the month of October? Let's comment either the ghost or the pumpkin emoji. That'd be cute. And why don't you go ahead while you're at it, give this video a thumbs up, like it if you'd like, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos, because I would love to have you here. Happy to have you. Respect others, respect yourself, and do something amazing with your day. Thanks, bye.